dribble
Yeah.
on. Do you play guitar? Like, are you teaching yourself?
No. I actually played in rock bands for like years before I ever did this.
Really?
Hmm.
Like the video game Rock Band?
No, I actually play guitar, bass, and drums,
That's awesome.
and I was the lead singer for the band that I had.
Oh, so what kind of,
that's.
you got like a voice.
I mean, I used to have a voice.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in a while.
I'm horrible,
I don't.
I can't
I
hear
don't
you.
know. Do you play anything?
I want to hear you belt something.
Yeah, belt it out
something?
for us.
Do you do karaoke now?
No. I'm actually not the karaoke guy because I've never been a great singer. I'm more of a good songwriter and performer. Like I get on stage and go crazy, but I'm not that guy that everyone's like, "Hey, sing a song for us because your voice is so amazing." Like that was
crazy, like
never me.
Like head banging, like, or crazy.
Some of the both.
Okay, I used to be. I used to be in a national tour. That's how I met Andrew. If you didn't know that, I used to sing and dance.
I didn't. Used to do what?
I used to sing and dance.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Dancing is definitely not my thing. Definitely not a dancer. But that's cool. That's rad.
It's not my thing. I can't dance. I'm not a showman whatsoever.
So were you like straight up on like going to be a pop star or what? Dancing. I want to hear more about this.
Not a pop star. I did like Broadway style. So I was so when I met Andrew, I was in a 60s national tour, and I did Footloose and a whole bunch of other musicals.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for that because I could never do stuff like that. I am like totally self-taught everything that I do. I can't read music at all.
Awesome though.
It's cool. But
that's so cool. Like Andrew tries to sing in the car, and I'm like,
yeah, it's like really bad. I mean, I think I sound good, but not anybody else. I'm literally.
I mean, if you didn't think you sounded good, it would be kind of stupid to let the noises out, right? It's like, I know I sound terrible, and I'm just singing anyways.
Every once in a while, I accidentally hit the right note, and it's like shocking for both of us.
Was that good? It was good, right?
That's awesome.
All right, there are a ton of viewers on, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is like 1/4 of the way through February, which is freaking insane. This month is flying by. It's the 7th already. If you guys are on a team cup, if you're not on a team cup, I don't give a shit. We are getting after it this month. We are going for Success Club, every single person. So I really, like I talked about in the live video in the team page the other day, I want you guys to treat the 15th like it's the end of the month. Could you imagine how much more momentum and how many more people you could help, how many more numbers you could get on the board, how much more we could do as a team if we pushed like we pushed on the 30th, on the 15th.
Yes.
That is our mentality this month. Like I talked about the other day, and in a couple graphics in the main team page, we are getting after it for the middle of the month. Everybody die on the treadmill by the 15th with me. And this month is kind of amazing because we do have the team cup. So we are literally getting prizes for our job anyway. So that's super fun. Get connected with your team, throw around some ideas together, lean on each other, use each other to move forward. I am not going to talk too much tonight. The one thing we did want to say in addition to that is, so Andrew was obviously on our retreat last week. The both of us did a lot with our top coaches and then our new diamonds the week before. But we just wanted to extend a hand for any of the husbands or male coaches who are on the team anywhere in the downline. If you guys need your spouses or boyfriends or whatever to reach out to Andrew, he is here 100%. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of him on the team calls. We did a spouse support call 2 weeks ago. So if you guys need any support in the male persuasion, that sounded kind of dirty.
It sounds kind of dirty.
I didn't mean that way.
You guys out here just selling me out for.
Yeah, you guys need a male time. No, JK. So, but if you guys do need some kind of advice, if you want your husbands to talk to him, whatever it is, you can definitely reach out to him through me, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I am super excited tonight. We have someone awesome to speak on our call. He is my personal mentor, which is kind of crazy. He's almost made me cry, hasn't made me cry just yet, but he is what he and I like to call a push coach. So he knows the Beachbody business really, really well. I'm sure that some of you guys have heard his name or seen him flying around Facebook. He works with a ton of top coaches, really just to pull out what we already know is inside of us and put those excuses aside and push forward. So tonight, he's really going to be, I mean, this is exclusive, you guys, because normally you have to pay to get into the group to get this training. But because you're on this team, we're giving it to you tonight on this team call. So this is gold. If you see a friend that you don't see on the call, tag them in the team page. Get them on the call. If you have team members who you think need a push, who you think need to push past their excuses, their fears, whatever it is, get them on this call. Be a good friend. Friends don't let friends stay in their excuses. So I'm going to hand it over to Josh and take it away, my friend. Oh no, I muted you.
There we go. That's okay. I had myself muted so that no one would hear me laughing hysterically as you are giving out your husband for motivation. But that was great. I mean, if that's what it takes to get people to hit Success Club, that's what we got to do, man. We just got to do whatever it takes is what Grant Cardone says. That's what Sagi says. It's just, I mean, he's a good looking dude. Why not? Okay. All right. Well, I'll stop now because now it's just getting awkward. Now it's just getting weird. And now people are wondering who the heck is this guy? So anyways, super honored to be here. Thanks for having me, Bonnie. Appreciate it so much. I know some of you probably hung out with me on my webinar Monday. Some of you got to hang out with me at the Leaders Retreat. Tonight, I want to speak to you about the most valuable lesson that I have learned in my personal business. So here's what's cool about me is I like to say that I have an inside perspective and an outside perspective. What I mean by that is most business trainers that you run into know absolutely nothing about Beachbody. And so we come across all these like crazy like branding trainings and design your avatar trainings and all of these like crazy trainings to try to supposedly help you build your business. But at the end of the day, none of these people know anything about Beachbody. Then we have people who are within Beachbody, like your upline, like Bonnie, who actually knows the business incredibly well, but unfortunately you won't listen to anything she says because she's your upline coach. And there's this really weird thing that I call the law of familiarity. Okay, the law of familiarity, I swear I'm going to write a book on it. I made it up. John Maxwell needs to add it to his book. Next time we chat, I'll make sure he does that. And the law of familiarity basically says this. When you become too familiar with someone in your life, you don't want to listen to their advice. Have you ever noticed that the hardest people in the world, yeah, exactly, husbands, my wife won't listen to anything I say, okay? I charge hundreds of dollars an hour to have a one-on-one session with someone like Bonnie, and my wife won't let me help her with anything. I always joke with people, I'm a rock star everywhere on the planet except for in my own home. The second I walk into my own home, it's over. Nobody knows as Josh Coates from the John Maxwell team. It's not Josh Coates that trains all the top 10 coaches. It's, hey, honey, shut up. Would you turn on my favorite TV show? But the law of familiarity, basically, have you ever noticed how people in your family never want to try Shakeology? You ever noticed how most of the people that you want to help the most are usually the people that won't let you help them? I swear it's true. I always tell people if you're trying to build your business around your friends and family, dude, you are building your business the wrong way because friends and family are the last people that want anything to do with your business. Why? Because they know how bad you suck, right? On social media, nobody knows how bad I suck. People think that I'm something great because that's what I told them I am. But in real person, the people that have known me for the last 20, 30 years of my life, they just don't give a crap about my business. So the law of familiarity says that because Bonnie is your upline coach, there's a lot of things she says that, man, you really should be doing that let's just be honest, let's just be real, you aren't doing. Okay? I can't see the chat thread right now because it's just too confusing for me to have two windows open. I'm too ADD. I just can't handle it. So I'm just going to speak and just hope that the chat thread doesn't say things like, Josh, you are a jerk. We hate your guts. I'm going to trust that you're taking away something tonight. Okay? But I do want to share with you this incredible tip that I've learned from building my business. But I've also noticed it's been the biggest game changer in the clients that I have had the most success. In 2015, I helped someone pull off a miracle. We went from 35 to 10 in a matter of like 4 months. Last year, I helped my good friend Raina go from number 12 to number 9 in a week and a half. I've had several other clients that have pulled off crazy goals in just such short amount of time. And randomly out of nowhere, in the last couple of months, it finally dawned on me. If you can hear my notifications going off, I apologize. I just had a new training group start and my emails are going crazy and I have a new laptop and I don't know how to turn it off. I told you, I'm ADD. I'm all over the place, okay? I promise you this, you don't have to be an organized person to be successful. That's for sure. So this is the greatest lesson I've learned from the people I've seen have the most success in the least amount of time. Now, you go ahead and tell me how many people on this call say, Josh, I would love to have the most success possible in the least amount of time. If that's you, drop an emoji. I can't see you, but Bonnie can see you. It's just still fun, okay? Drop me your favorite emoji in the comments if you say, I want the most amount of success possible in the least amount of time. If that's not what you want, you're on the wrong call. Go back to Netflix, okay? Tonight, I just want to help people that want to be freaking awesome at life and kill their business, okay? If that's not you, there's like a million shows on Netflix. You can be just like everyone else in the world. You can watch Netflix, eat some pizza, you'll be fine, okay? For everyone else, I want you to write down these 2 words in all caps. I want you to write it down. You have to take notes. Please take notes tonight because what I'm about to share with you is going to change your life and your business forever. These 2 words need to be ingrained in your brain for the rest of this month, the rest of this quarter, the rest of this year, the rest of your life. And those 2 words are urgency and focus. Urgency and focus are the 2 words that are about to change your life forever. Here's what I've noticed about Beachbody coaches, and it's not just Beachbody coaches, it's everybody. It's human nature, okay? In January, we come up with this really awesome goal, and it just sounds so cool. Doesn't it sound cool in January to say things like, I'm gonna go elite this year? Or I'm going to go diamond this year, or I'm going to go 10-star or 50, or I'm going to climb the leadership ladder by 2 spots. I don't know, whatever that is. It sounds so much fun in January, but I don't know if you guys know this. Statistically speaking, 85% of people have given up on their New Year's resolution or their goal by Valentine's Day. I don't know if you knew this. Valentine's Day is like right around the corner, which means I would be willing to bet that 80% of you have already dropped. Now, we are business owners, so maybe we are the 15% that actually hangs on to our goals, but I'd still be willing to bet that for every person on this call that made a goal at the beginning of January, I'd be willing to bet that at least 60% of you are not on track for that goal, even though February just started. Money on it. Do you know why? Because I'm talking to a bunch of humans that have never heard this teaching before. But this teaching is about to change it all. Urgency and focus. The reason you have failed goal after goal after goal after goal. I was going to go diamond last month. It didn't happen. So I'm going to go diamond this month. But you've been saying that for 6 months. Why haven't you gone diamond yet? Why have you not gone diamond yet? I'll tell you why. I'm about to tell you why. Because your goal is so far away. It's not forcing you to do anything today. Did you hear that? Your goal is so far away, it's not forcing you to do anything today. About a month ago, I said out loud that I was going to chase a crazy goal. Okay. For the longest time, I'm a big Body Beast fan. I don't know what workouts you guys like, but I'm Body Beast to the core. I grew up, I played lots of sports, but I was always kind of like the skinnier guy who was just athletic. And I hated that. I don't want to be the skinny guy. I want to be like the huge dude, not huge like Siggy, but I don't want to be the smallest guy in the room either. Okay. And so I did P90X about 5 years ago. I did it like 3 times in a row. Went from 148 pounds is what I weighed. Yeah. I could have straight up probably pulled an Instagram post and said, looking for women only, and could have had like hundreds of email addresses just lined up of women that wanted to look like me because that's how scrawny I looked. And so with P90X, I got up to 155. Okay. But I could never seem to get past 155. I don't know what it was. I kept doing P90X. I did P90X2. At some point, I did T25 just because my wife wanted to do it. So I did it with her, knowing that that was only going to shrink me more. So I shrunk back down to 148. Again, looking for women only. And so then I found out about Body Beast. Okay. And so I got Body Beast. I went all in. I went from 148 to 173 in 90 days. It was incredible. I felt like, for the first time in my life, I felt like a male. Like, for the first time, I could say, yes, I am a man, not a 12-year-old kid. I know I have 3 kids, but I look like a 12-year-old kid. And it felt incredible. So here's the thing. After that, I plateaued for a really long time. For about the last year and a half, I was plateaued. And then my wife got pregnant. And by this point, my business had taken off. I was making plenty of money. We could eat out anytime we wanted. And by the way, we did. We ate out anytime we wanted. And it wasn't even like I was looking at the healthy stuff on the menu. I was just ordering burgers, grilled chicken, or not grilled chicken, fried chicken, everything on the planet. So then I put on like 10 pounds. For the first time in my life, I was overweight. And I know some of you hate my guts that I had to work that hard to get overweight. Most women hate my guts for it. I know, no fun. But about 6 months ago, I hooked up with my Beachbody coach, said, dude, I need to get on track. Like, I need to get this under control. I need to get back to being Josh. I dropped the weight, okay? Got back on, I was still lifting, but I was just eating whatever I wanted, okay? Got back to a good, healthy weight. Which at that time got me down, I think around like 160-ish, okay? Now, I've been plateaued for a long time, but for the last 2 years, I've had it wrote down that I had a goal of having 16-inch arms while also having ripped abs. Abs, A-B-S, just to be clear there, okay? I wanted to have 16-inch arms with ripped abs. I wanted to have both. Like, I'd always been able to get bigger, but not without like putting on some like body fat, okay? So here's what I did. About a month and a half ago, okay? I've got an event coming up in March that I'm hosting here in Oklahoma. My girl Raina is going to be speaking. Micah Folsom's going to be speaking. Zach Spuckler's coming in for it. It's going to be awesome. And I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity to just decide to go for my goal. I personally like to find some type of event coming up and decide to push for some big goal before I hit the event. Why? Because again, if I say I'm going to have 16-inch arms by the end of the year, what am I going to do today? Right? So here's what happened. Last 4 weeks, I have put 3/4 of an inch on my arms while being probably the lowest body fat percent I've ever been. Like, I am actually at the body fat percent of when I was 148 pounds and selling challenge packs to women. I never sold challenge packs. Okay, it's a bad joke. I'll shut up now. Okay. My point is this. I said out loud a goal that was so urgent. I only had at that point about 9 or 10 weeks to pull off a goal that I've had for 2.5 years. Why is it that I never was able to move forward toward that goal until just recently? Because I never had anything urgent enough to force me into action. The first thing I want you to write down tonight, or I guess I should say the next thing I want you to write down, is urgency, focus. Urgency creates focus. This is what Beachbody coaches do. You have summit goals and you have end of the year goals. Summit is like 6 months away. That is not creating anything urgent. You're not going to be focused. You know what you're going to do? I'm going to tell you what you're going to do because I know what you do. You're going to goof around with creating a website. You're going to spend 45 hours trying to pick out the best logo, trying to decide between a freaking arrow and a unicorn. I don't know what the heck you're looking at. You're going to spend 2 hours a day on WordSwag trying to decide between turquoise and hot pink for your next post because you think that maybe if you pick the right color, you'll get as many comments as Bonnie, even though you have 500 followers and she has 40,000. You think turquoise or hot pink is somehow going to be like the game changer for you. Or maybe you're spending hours messing around with Facebook ads. Here's the thing. I spend thousands of dollars a month on Facebook ads, but I didn't do that until I built up a 6-figure business. I wasn't doing that back when I was making $100 a week. You don't have an urgent goal, so you're not focused on doing the right things. Now, I'll tell you what most of you are doing is you're looking for the shortcut in your business. You're thinking, maybe if I play around with this thing that I heard about on some random podcast, gosh, I love podcasts, but you really need to be careful with podcasts. I had to shut off podcasts for a while because every single one had a different idea for how you could grow your business. You can't grow your business with 45 different directions happening. You've got to have focus on something very simple that you know works. And here's the problem. The biggest problem in the entire Beachbody business is this. I'm calling you guys out on your crap tonight, okay? So just, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get mean. I promise I'm a nice person and I love you all, but you need to hear this. 90% of Beachbody coaches are not even doing their 4 vital behaviors. And then whining and complaining that they can't hit Success Club, that they can't rank advance, that they can't figure out how the heck to move their business forward. They spend hours on calls with upline coaches and mentors trying to figure out what the problem with their business is. Should I take more selfies? Should I smile bigger? I don't know. Maybe I need a Diva light. There's nothing wrong with all that. I got a Diva light set up right here, okay? Nothing wrong with all that. But my point is you think that all of those things are going to fix your business. Meanwhile, you're not doing your invites. I'm sorry, guys, but having perfect lighting is not replacing your vital behaviors. Attraction marketing is like, I don't even like those words. I think it's like the biggest joke on the planet because it's given you the illusion that if you can figure out a way to be attractive enough and fun enough and outgoing, in other words, if you can put together the perfect post, that people will magically show up. Attraction marketing is kind of a fancy way of saying if you have a huge following and you also know how to smile, you'll get a bunch of email addresses. Well, guess what? If you want to have a huge following, that takes work. Lots of work and lots of time and lots of energy. There is not some like free, cheap way to get a huge following or to get influence. Large following really means lots of influence. Time plus presence equals influence. That's something I learned from one of my mentors. Time plus presence equals influence. We have a whole lot of Beachbody coaches who don't want to spend any time or have any presence that can't figure out why they have no influence. You want to have influence? Spend a whole lot more time having presence in people's lives. What does that mean? That means invite, invite, invite. Here's the thing. If your goal is 6 months away or 12 months away, you can keep screwing around on word swag all day and you don't realize it's killed your business until Summit rolls around and once again, your name is not on the board. And once again, you are not on stage. And then you're frustrated. Uh-oh, Mean Josh is really about to come out now. I apologize. I can't control Mean Josh. It just happens, and I don't know where it comes from, and I can't control it. I like to pretend it's a gift from God, but maybe it's actually like a gift from Satan. I don't know, whatever. You get frustrated, and you start to say stupid crap like this. Well, Beachbody is a scam. All the people at the top make all the money while the rest of us work our butts off and get nothing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Because guess what? That's what every business structure on the planet looks like. The people at the top make the most money. That's just business, okay? How stupid would it be if my assistant made 10 times more money than me when I'm the one that took all the risk to start this company? I'm the one that put all the hustle in to make this company. If my assistant made more money than me, I'd go back to detailing cars. It makes no sense. Here's the difference. In the corporate world, there's still a guy at the top making all of the money, but you have no say in where you can climb to. He has all of the say. You want to hear something really funny? I used to work at a shoe store when I was like 22. I was an assistant manager. They decided, okay, they had like 300 stores nationwide. They decided it costs too much to do yearly reviews of their employees to decide who should get a raise. It costs too much in paperwork. So they decided all the employees in the entire company were just going to all get a 3% raise. I'm selling 3 times as much as the person next to me. And they're saying my hard work is not even valuable enough to spend the money on the paperwork it takes to evaluate whether or not I do my job. And then you're going to whine and complain about companies like Beachbody and say all the people at the top make all the money. No. In Beachbody, you decide how high you climb. Bonnie doesn't sit there and hold you down at an emerald or hold you down at a diamond or hold you down at a 2-star and say, sorry, I want to be the only superstar on the team, so you can't be a superstar. Anyone can be a superstar. Anyone, anyone, anyone. It's like my mentor. I actually hosted a call for my mentor on the John Maxwell team about a week ago. And he said, here's the thing. Everyone has the potential to do what Josh has done. Just not everyone has been willing to do what he's done. My business has exploded faster than anyone on the entire John Maxwell team. People hunt me down at the John Maxwell training to ask how I've done what I've done. And the truth is, I just did what they weren't willing to do. But here's the thing. When you create an urgent goal, you are forced to forget about all the stupid BS and focus on the right things. Which is why I say, number one, you need to have an end of month goal. However, some of you have done that. Some of you have done that. You have a goal to hit Success Club by the end of the month. And here's where my group, the 1 week month, comes from. You say, okay, by the end of the month, I'm going to hit Success Club 5, right? And again, you wait until the 27th and go, oh crap, I only have 3 days to hit Success Club. So I better get my crap together. And for 3 days out of the month, you focus in and you're like, I guess I need to invite people. And you send out like 1,000 invites in 3 days and somehow pull off Success Club. Here's what I want to know. And trust me, don't you dare try to argue with me. I've talked to enough of you. I know I've done this on call after call after call after call. And I say, how many of you wait until the 27th to kick it in gear? And I swear 80% of the hands go up. Okay. I'm not making this crap up. If you can hit Success Club in the last 3 days of the month, why can't you hit Success Club every single week? What if you made it your goal, instead of hitting Success Club this month, to hit Success Club this week? Because if you did that, even if you were lazy on Monday and Tuesday, I know it's Tuesday and some of you are thinking, I don't got to do nothing today because it's just Tuesday. And by the way, it's only like the 7th or 8th. I don't know what the heck today is, right? But if your goal was to hit Success Club every single week, you might let yourself slip on Monday. You might even let yourself slip on Tuesday. But by the time Wednesday comes around, you're going, oh crap, I better do something to make this goal happen. And that's why I tell people, I can help you produce more than you've ever produced without even spending more time. I don't need you to spend more time on your business. I just need you to set urgent enough of a goal that it forces you to focus on the right things and stop wasting your time on all the other things. Here's the thing, just like your health journey, the things that get you results are never the sexy things. Never. It is not sexy, the kind of food that I've been eating the last couple of months. Not sexy at all. Thing that matters. Do you know what I love to do? You know what I love to do? I love to work out my arms. Because at the end of the day, that's really the only thing that ever shows. I mean, I don't just like walk into Target with my shirt off, okay? Nobody sees my chest or my shoulders or my abs. They only see my arms, right? And I can buy these tiny little t-shirts that show my arms on purpose. So I love to work out my arms, right? I know, it's funny, isn't it? But at the end of the day, we all know nutrition is way more important than our actual workouts. It's just not as sexy. In your business, most of you are trying to work out your arms, or let's face it, we got a bunch of girls on this call, so you're working out your legs and your booty, not your arms, right? And that's the fun part. But the part that's not so sexy, that's actually most important, is the nutrition. Same with your business. The part that's fun is making social media posts, going through and liking and commenting on everyone's stuff and pretending that you're connecting when really you're just scrolling your newsfeed. The part that's the least amount of fun, that's the most productive, is invites. If I could just somehow put a gun to your head and say, figure out a way to hit Success Club this week, you would do it. And the way you would do it would not be posting more on social media. It would be doing more invites. Let's just pretend that right now that I got a gun to your head. Okay, maybe that's going to get us taken off of YouTube. I don't know. Let's pretend I don't know, have an ice cream bar that you can have if you do the right thing. Maybe we should use positive reinforcement, not negative. And you had 1 week that your life depended on hitting Success Club. What would you do? Would you post more on social media, or would you do more invites? You would do more invites. And yet most of you spend 80% of your business posting. And if you're really committed, 20% doing invite. And I'm telling you, you need to flip that. You need to spend 80% inviting and 20% posting. My gosh, why do you need 3 hours a day to come up with a few posts for social media? I'll tell you why. Because there's not as much fear attached to it. Because you can post on social media fun little selfies and pictures of your coffee, and I'm not against that. I do the same thing. But it's not in anyone's face and you feel completely comfortable about it. But when you have an urgent goal, you stop worrying about what's comfortable, you stop worrying about what's fun, and you do the thing that's going to move your business forward. So first homework assignment tonight. If there is no homework, we just had a good chat. First homework assignment. is every single person listening to my voice, whether you're on live, whether you're listening to this recording. I don't care if you're on some other team and you just stalk Bonnie's page because you know she puts out good stuff. Your first assignment is to decide that you're going to find a way to hit Success Club every single week. And you go, dang, this is why I have a new hashtag this year. It's called hashtag Let's Puke Together. Because if we really set proper goals, it should make you want to throw up. In 2016, I 10x'd my income from 2015. Come 2017, I had a new goal in mind. And of course, it was bigger. I wanted to make more money, of course. But by the time I got to the end in 2016, I was like, man, that number that I had set, it doesn't really scare me anymore. And I need to live what I preach, so I need to up that goal. So I doubled it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, Josh? You 10x'd your income last year. Why aren't you trying to 10x it again? So in 2017, my goal, again, is to 10x my income from last year. Why? Because it makes me want to throw up. Which means it's going to force me to focus more than I've ever focused before. I have to do the right things. I can't 10x my income goofing off and playing on Facebook and WordSwag or, just scrolling the newsfeed. I can't do it. It won't happen. At the end of the day, my business has built up so much momentum, I could easily coast on it for the next year or two. But the compound effect works negatively the same way it works positively. It may be just fine for the next year or two, but then out of nowhere, I'd be going, what happened? What? I'd be doing the same thing a lot of Beachbody coaches did in 2016. There was a lot of bad vibes in Beachbody in 16, not because there was anything wrong with Facebook or Instagram or volume or anything else. It's because a bunch of people got lazy. I'm just being super real here. I'm just being honest, totally real. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. Maybe some of you don't. You probably don't know what I'm talking about because Bonnie was still kicking butt, so she didn't notice. The only people that noticed this drought were the people that were lazy and not continuing to push things to a new level. Just being real here. If your business is struggling right now, it's not because of the Facebook algorithm. My affinity score is still doing just fine. It's not because Instagram is overcrowded. I mean, I checked Raina's post from the other day, still had 185 comments on it. I'm sure Bonnie's looks exactly the same. It's not because Facebook ads no longer work. I make thousands of dollars a month off my Facebook ads. It's not because of any of this stuff. If your business is failing right now, it's because you don't have an urgent enough of a goal. So you're not focused on the right things. So you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, you're wasting effort, you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted, you're confused because you aren't doing the right things. That's all there is to it. And I know that's harsh. I kind of wish I could see the comments just so I could know that people aren't hating my guts right now. But maybe it's better that I don't know what they're saying right now because maybe everyone is just like, dude, this is the worst call I've ever been on. I just want to kill this guy. My goal is to be to you what Shaun T is to me. I have a love-hate relationship with Shaun T. I hate his guts so bad. But at the end of the day, I love the results he gives me. I hope at the end of this call, you're like, Josh is my new Shaun T because he makes me want to vomit all over the place. But at the end of the day, I know he's right. And I know it's what I needed. So number one, urgency creates focus. Number two, urgency breeds creativity. Urgency breeds creativity. Here's the thing. When your goal is 12 months away, you don't have to figure out new ways to do things. You don't have to get creative about the process. Because 12 months from now is so far away, you're not pushed for time. I like to use this analogy. If my house were on fire, okay, and the deadbolt was locked and there was no way into my house, but my kids were on the inside, I would get creative real fast about how to find a way in to save my kids. I mean, I would kick through a window. I'd kick through a door. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. All I know is in an instant, I would think of 100 ideas that I would have never thought of if I were just locked out. If I'm locked out of my house and there's nothing urgent that I need to do, what am I doing? I'm sitting in my car playing on my phone and calling a locksmith, right? I'm just going to check my messages, see if my client thread has any new funny gifts in there. I'm just hanging out. No urgency. I'm not going, I wonder if that window is unlocked. I wonder if I could break down. I wonder if leg day has been paying off enough that I could break down the door with a kick. I'm not thinking about any of those things. But the second I have an urgent matter that I have to attend to, all of a sudden I have ideas like I've never had before. If you do not have some type of urgent goal, some of you are going, dude, you're challenging me to hit Success Club this week, but I mean, I don't want to spend 40 hours a day on my business. I'm not asking you to spend 40 hours a day on your business. I'm asking you to set a goal that scares the crap out of you so that you'll be more focused than you've ever been before, so that you'll be more creative than you've ever been before. All of a sudden, you're finding new ways to overcome objections when you have no other option. You're like, all of a sudden, you're finding ways to find new people. One of the biggest questions we get from people is, where do you find all of these people to talk to? Well, when you have to make sales, you figure out where people are. Okay? Which hashtag should I be searching? Who the F cares? If you need to make a sale, you just pull up some hashtags and you just go for it. And you learn as you go. You become creative because you're forced to become creative. Third thing, urgency demands ownership. It demands ownership. When you have something you have to get done this week, you don't even have time to think about excuses. I have heard so many people say things like, well, I don't have a large following. I'm not as pretty. I'm not as funny. I don't know what my brand is. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. You have so many excuses for why you can't do it. And at the end of the day, there is no one thing that I have found about any of the top Beachbody coaches. There's no one thing that they all have in common that just makes the business magically work. What I have found is that every single one of them has a completely unique way, unique story. They have a completely unique personality. Like John Maxwell has taught me, talent is not enough. There is no such thing as enough talent to be successful. You have to want it. I shouldn't say every, that's an exaggeration, but in my eyes, that first year that I was building my business, and let me just tell you the story, because I know most of you probably don't know my story. If you do, oh well, you can hear it again. Signed up for the John Maxwell team. I had been detailing cars for 9.5 years, playing in rock bands on the weekends. My youngest son was born with a heart defect. So he had 3 different open heart surgeries by the age of 3. On his 3rd open heart surgery, it was just so much I decided I needed to shut the band down. The band was my passion. That's what I loved. I had this dream of traveling around the world and playing music that would inspire people to live out their dreams. That was my dream, was to inspire other people to dream. That was it. But with this open heart surgery, I realized, here's the thing. You're going to spend the next several years traveling away from your family, not making any money. If you don't know this, music doesn't make you any money unless you're famous. It's either poor or rich, one or the other. There is no in between. There's not like a 2-star or 5-star level where you're making some money, you're just not rich yet. No, it's poor or rich. And we were the poor ones, okay? And I realized, here's the thing. I've got 3 kids now. One is going through all of this heart stuff. There's got to be a different way for daddy to be able to have a career and a passion and be home. I didn't know what that was going to look like. I just knew music wasn't going to be the way. So I signed up. Actually, I first started listening to podcasts. I went from listening to 8 hours of music a day, because that was my passion before, to listening to 8 hours worth of podcasts a day. I just decided I needed to learn something different. Figured the podcast store was a great place to start because it's at least free, right? I'm poor. I got poverty mentality like nobody's business, but I'm like, free, I can do that. In the process, I find John Maxwell, decide that personal development is the thing I want to spend the rest of my life teaching people because I was seeing how it was changing my life. Signed up for the John Maxwell team and decided to start a business. You don't have to start a business within the John Maxwell team. You can do it just to develop your own leadership. There's lots of people who are already like have corporate careers and they do it just to better themselves as leaders for their careers. But I didn't really have a career. I wasn't going to invest all that money to become a better detailer. So I decided to start a business. And one of the things we get mentored in is life coaching. We get certified as life coaches. And so I just said, okay, this is something I think I want to do. And so I started putting together a plan to grow this business. You would think being on the John Maxwell team, being mentored by John Maxwell, having access to his training on how to build a business, you would think my business would just skyrocket from the get-go. Unfortunately, that was not the case. You guys hear a lot of cool stories. I remember I was at the last Super Saturday and there's this girl that was like, yeah, my first month I made $1,200. I just literally posted and was like, who wants to join me? And 5,000 people were like, ooh, me. And I made $1,200. And I'm like, dude, that wasn't even my first year. I made like $500 in an entire first year of trying to grow my business. And one of the reasons is I'd spent the last 10 years networking with people for the sake of my music. And those weren't the same people that wanted life coaching and business training and leadership training. And I had every excuse in the world of why my business wasn't working. Everyone else on the John Maxwell team has all of this corporate experience. They all have all of these other friends in the business world who actually have money and actually want to work on their leadership. And they have it so easy. They just call up all their business friends and say, hey, I'm putting on an event, and they all show up and they all pay, and their careers as speakers, coaches, and trainers just take off. And so my whole first year, in the back of my head, I whined and complained about why it would never work for me and it was so easy for them. But at some point I said, you know what? I don't care what disadvantages I have. I want to make this business work, and I'm going to figure out a way. So I just kept learning. I kept trying. I kept failing. I kept growing. I took some great advice that I got from a book called Good to Great, which says to look in the mirror for someone to point the blame to and look out the window for someone to give the credit to. And so every time something failed, I just kept looking in the mirror and saying, what do you need to change? How do you need to grow? What could you have done differently? I realize everything seemed perfect, but it's not their fault. So just keep growing. My second year, I decided apparently everyone in Tulsa, Oklahoma hates my guts. No one wants to work with me. Cool, whatever. I'll try out this social media thing. And I got on social media and just started messaging the crap out of everyone on the planet, offering them free coaching consultations. I even had this message I would copy and paste. Hi, my name's, hey, it's Josh. I don't know if you've seen recently, but I'm on the John Maxwell team. I'm giving away a few life coaching sessions. Anyone ever said that? Now hiring, I'll take the next 2 people. You'll take the next 200, but you're trying to make it sound urgent, right? I'm giving away a couple free coaching sessions this month. I wanted to see if you'd be interested in chatting to see if there's anything I can do to help you reach your goals. And I literally copied and pasted that to just like everyone on the planet. Over time, some people started to respond. Now, 90% of people ignored me, never responded or said no thanks. But if you just message enough people, there is this thing called the 10% that does respond. Which, by the way, if you're only messaging 5 or 6 people a week, that's why you're not making any sales, because you got to message 10 people just to get 1 response. That's what I've learned, okay? And I started to pick up some momentum, building a business virtually, which is something that wasn't even taught on the John Maxwell team. Eventually, I started to line up so many clients, I was running out of time. Actually sat down and had coffee with this guy, and he said, dude, you need to like learn, you got to like build some type of curriculum or something that you can sell to the masses. Went home, launched my first virtual training group called Clarity and Focus, sold 80 spots in the first week. I made $4,000 in a week, which at the time I was only making about $1,500 a month off of my business. Since then, I've continued to learn, grow, hustle, network, develop, and now I have over 900 people a month in my training groups. And as many of you know, I mentor like 6 of the top 10 coaches and another 8 or 9 superstar diamonds. Why? Because at some point in my business, I decided to get rid of my excuses and take ownership for my part. No excuses. And because of that, my business looks totally different than anyone else on the John Maxwell team. I'm the only person on the John Maxwell team that sits at home in my office, hanging out, drinking coffee, while hundreds of people sign up for training groups. Already recorded. I'm the only one. Why? Because urgency creates focus, it breeds creativity, and it demands ownership. I had nothing going for me, nothing. I was the least experienced, the least talented, the least known. I had literally nothing on my side, but I took ownership for moving my business forward and getting my family the life that I wanted to create for them. And that's why I'm sitting here today. Not because I was good at attraction marketing, not because I had a large following, not because of any of that other crap that you have used for excuses, just like I did. I'm asking you tonight to throw your excuses away and make the decision like I did to take the credit and the blame for your business and decide you're going to do whatever it takes. So here's your next homework assignment. I want you to write down what are your top 2 excuses for why you can't make this business work. Write them down right now, okay? I'm going to take a drink while you're writing it down. What are the top 2 excuses you have for why your business can't go where you want it to go? And we all have them. We all have them. Regardless of how successful we become, we still have voices in the back of our head saying, you can't go to the next level because. We all have them. Okay? Now that you've wrote those down, okay, I want you to take ownership right now. I want you to take ownership for why you aren't going to let those excuses hold you back. I want you to decide right this second that while those things may be true, they may even be true, you're not going to let those things hold you back from what you really want. Because if you're like me, and we all have different stories, we have all been in different places, but I was detailing cars, barely making enough money to pay the bills. In fact, we used to have a truck that would drive by our house once a week to take pictures. Why was he taking pictures? Because the mortgage company wanted to make sure we hadn't abandoned the place because we were so far behind on our mortgage. We used to have this calculator app. Everyone knows about the calculator app on their phone. Yeah, I used to use it every time we went to the grocery store to make sure we didn't show up at the front with more food than what we could afford. Buying the cheapest brand of bread we possibly could. Come on. Bread, it's like a $1 difference, right? The crappy bread and the good bread is like $1. But that dollar could have been the difference between whether or not we could get 2 things of Easy Mac instead of 1. Yeah, I said Easy Mac because that's the crap we were eating when we didn't have money. I don't know where you're at today. All I know is that if you're on this call, it's because you wanted something different in life. You want to take your life to a new place. Maybe you've got a spouse you need to retire. Maybe you've got debt you need to pay off. Maybe you got vacations you want to go on. Whatever it is, I can promise you this. The only way you're going to get any of that stuff is if you take ownership for getting it. Because no one else is going to get it for you. And no excuse is going to get you a paycheck. Well, here's the thing. I tried, but I just don't have big enough of a following. Oh, you don't have big enough of a following? That's fine. We'll go ahead and send you a paycheck anyways. We're going to go ahead and send you the equivalent of what you would have if you did have a larger following. We're just going to go ahead and give you a little grace this time. You have to take responsibility for going where you want to go. Okay? I have one last challenge, and then I promise I'll shut up, and me and Josh will go away, and you guys can go back about your lives without Josh till next time. So this is something that I've been calling people out on lately, okay? Because we're talking about urgency, okay? We're talking about having urgent goals. So now that we've talked about hitting Success Club weekly, we need to vomit a little bit more, okay? We have one step further we need to go. We have some people, so I challenge people hit Success Club weekly. Some of you are like, I already do that. I'm off the hook because I'm already awesome, right? Okay, good. I got good stuff for you. Some of you have a goal to go diamond by Summit. I'm just gonna make that one up because I know that's a lot of people have goals to go diamond, correct? And a lot of you are thinking, I'm gonna go diamond by Summit because I wanna be recognized at Summit for going diamond. Here's what I wanna know. Diamond is 4 coaches on each leg, okay, with 2 emeralds, 1 emerald on each side, correct? If you have a goal to go diamond, it means you're already emerald, or you wouldn't really have that goal yet. You'd be thinking about emerald still, which means you have at least 2 coaches. What I want to know is why you need 6 months to sign 6 coaches. Now, here's the thing. I know, I'm freaking some people out. Some people are freaking out. But my job as a push coach and as a life coach is to remove you from your emotions and help you think logically. I just want you to think logically for a second. Do you really need 30 days to find one person that wants to make a difference in the world? Do you realize now that I say it out loud how ridiculous that is to give yourself 6 months to sign 6 coaches? You're trying to sign 1 coach a month? Let's be real here. If you're a business owner, right? You're a business owner. You're not a clerk at Target, okay? You're a business owner. You should be producing better than that. I'm going to challenge you, if your goal is to go diamond right now, I'm going to challenge you to sign 1 coach a week. I want you to sign 1 coach a week, which means every single person on this call that wants to go diamond, if you're watching this live or within a few days of the recording, your goal should be to go diamond by the end of March. Some of you just threw up in your mouth, and that's good. If you're not throwing up, it means it's not urgent enough, which means you're not focused enough, which means you're not creative enough, which means you're not taking any ownership. If you are already an emerald, which some of you, my gosh, have 4 or 5 coaches already. If you have 4 or 5 coaches, if you have 4 coaches or more, if you are a Ruby, or I know we don't really talk about Ruby a lot, but if you have 4 coaches or more, you should be going diamond by the end of the month. I'm just throwing that out there. And I think that maybe everyone that has a goal to go diamond by the end of the month, you should be hitting each other up and being like, let's do this. Let's puke together. I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Now, some of you, let's take it a step further because I really want to make all of you puke tonight. I hope that's okay. Some of you are diamond already, and you're like, I want to go 2-star by Summit. Okay, can I have permission, Bonnie, to like really, really let your diamonds just know what I think? Okay, good. Because here's what I hear from diamonds over and 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 over. I can't move forward because my coaches aren't motivated. Okay. Can we just be real here? Can we just all be real? If you're stuck at diamond, that's on you, not anyone else. Because you have or should have a spouse's account or a boyfriend's account or a dog's account or something that you are 100% fully capable of making diamond and going 1 star all on your own. And then once you make them diamond and you're 1 star, guess what? You sign up your mom or your dad and you make them diamond and you go 2 star. Now, Bonnie may correct me later if that's against company policies, but everyone that I know that's a top coach went 2 star all on their own without anyone's help. Even if that is against company policy, you should at least be going 1 star. Okay, let's just say you should all be at least 1 star, right? But I can't keep I can't get my spouse's account to diamond. That's the problem. You can't get your spouse's account to diamond, so stop blaming your coaches for not being motivated and take ownership and say, I should probably be recruiting more coaches so that I can hit Success Club in my business center and recruit coaches in my husband's business center. Which, by the way, if you were recruiting 1 coach a week, you should easily be able to do that. If you are a diamond right now and you're trying to go 2 star by Summit, I'm going to challenge you to go 2 star in the next 3 months. And you say, dude, that's just crazy. I don't know how I can do that. Well, how'd you go diamond? Here's what diamonds don't understand. And I was talking about this with one of my clients the other day. All I want you to do is I just want you to go emerald over and over and over and over and over and over. Why is it that when we all look back on emerald, it was challenging when we were trying to get to emerald, but once you've done it, you're like, oh yeah, I just had to find 2 people, right? Why don't we just keep finding 2 people over and over and over? Why is it that when we think about going diamond or 1 star, we automatically let it become this big, huge thing in our brain that blows us away and we think we need a year to pull it off? Why not every single week, just every single week, decide to go emerald? Now, if you're trying to get 2 diamond, I'm not going to challenge you to that yet. I just want you to recruit 1 coach every single week. But if you've already hit diamond, let's up the ante a little bit. Let's go emerald every single week. Let's find 2 people. And before you call me crazy and say that's the most ridiculous thing on the planet, let's say there's 7 days in the week, which, by the way, there are. All I'm asking you to do is make a sale on 2 of those days. You still have 5 days to not make any sales. Do you realize logically how simple that is? Now, again, emotionally we go, man, 2 coaches a week. That's a lot if you're only signing 2 coaches a month, correct? But if you just think logically for a second, to ask you to make a sale 2 out of 7 days, just logically speaking here, no emotions attached, to ask you to make a sale twice every 7 days, I mean, Girl Scouts can pull that kind of crap off. I always say Girl Scout cookies got more guts than Beachbody coaches, because Girl Scout cookies literally they'll just go knock on every freaking door. They'll set up at Walmart. They'll talk to anybody on the planet. They don't care. They got cookies to sell and they know they're good and they don't care. They ain't worried about offending nobody. And yet Beachbody coaches, we have this process that has changed our lives. Many of you used to be depressed, used to be overweight. Your relationships were going down the drain because your life was just effed up. And Beachbody changed all of that for you. And we're scared to death to invite people to join us on this thing that has changed our lives forever. And Girl Scouts are out there hustling their butts off, selling 50 boxes a day. When, let's face it, they're killing people. I mean, they're just absolutely killing people. Stupid Girl Scouts, stay away from my house. I do not want that in my house. I got goals, okay? And you have something that can change the world. And most of you became a Beachbody coach because of the transformation you had in your own life. And you said, if I could just help one other person experience this, it would be worth it. So let me ask you this. Do you still mean that? If you could just help one person change their life forever, would that be worth 9 other people thinking that you're a spammer or a scammer or some pyramid, whatever? Is that worth it? To take one person's life and change it forever. I'm talking about their marriage is going to be affected by this. Their children are going to be affected by this. Their future is going to be affected by this. By the way, if they decide to be a rock star coach, their entire financial situation can be changed by this. Is that worth being rejected by 9 other people? I'd be willing to bet that all of you are nodding your head yes right now. But your problem is you aren't thinking about the one person's life you want to change. You're only thinking about the 9 people that you have offended or that have ignored you. Let's face it, most of them were not offended. They just ignored you, and you got offended because you don't like to be ignored. So I'm going to ask you, if you really want to change one life, I'm going to ask you to embrace being rejected 9 times over and over and over and over, because that's what it takes to change one life. You have to be willing to be rejected by 9 people, but it's 100% worth it for that one person whose life has changed forever. So if you need to recruit 1 coach a week, awesome. Just find 9 people, piss them off, and 1 person will decide to join. If you need to recruit 2 coaches a week, awesome. Piss off 18 people a week and you'll get 2 people to join. But again, if it's not your goal to perform this week, if all you're thinking about is what you want to do at the end of the year or even the end of this month, you're not going to be urgent today. I just made up a pair of Nike IDs last night online. And you're allowed to put some custom words on it. On one shoe, it says urgent. On another shoe, it says focus. I'm literally going to wear on my shoes these words because these are the words I want to live by. I want to wake up every single day and realize that today matters. In fact, John Maxwell has a book called Today Matters. And the philosophy behind it is this. He was mentored by John Wooden, who is known as the greatest coach of all time. He won 10 championships in 12 years on the UCLA basketball team as their coach. And he used to have players that would come to him, and they would be in practice, and they'd be tired. And he could tell they weren't performing at their best. He could tell maybe they'd stayed out late last night with a girlfriend, whatever. And John Wooden would walk up to him. He'd pull him aside. He'd say, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm tired, so I'm not going to give it all my today. Not going to give everything I've got today, but I'll make up for it tomorrow. Here's the problem with that. You only get 100% every day. If you only give me 85% today, you can't give me 115% tomorrow. If you give me 85% today, 15% is gone that you can never, ever, ever get back. So I know you're tired. I know you don't feel good, but I need 100% every single day. That's all I'm asking for, guys. I'm not asking you to give something you don't have. Some of you say, Josh, I only have 1 hour a day to work this business. That's fine. Give me 100% of that hour to doing the right things. Some of you say, Josh, I've got 7 kids crawling all over the place. We got a freaking reality show going on over here with the family we're building. I mean, I literally only have these mom cracks. That's fine. Make up a to-do list of the right things, and at every mom crack, pick one of those things to do. But stop scrolling your news feed and calling it work. Stop liking and commenting on crap and calling it work. Now, I know that there is time that you need to spend liking and commenting, but let's face it, that's not the most important thing in your business. Do the right things first. Give me 100%, and I will give you the life you've dreamed of. And that's what I've asked people to do in my group that I have. It's called the 1 week month health bet for your biz. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to take just 30 seconds and tell you about it because it's changing people's lives. I've built an entire group based on urgency and focus. And I'm making people set monthly goals, but then also set weekly goals, but then also come up with specific daily activities. And these daily activities, I'll show you. they get to pull up on my app right here. See Legacy Leadership right there? You pull up the app, Legacy Leadership. It makes me feel really cool. I'm not gonna lie. And then it's got my picture on it, which makes me feel even cooler. Okay. And then I can go to the day of the week. I'm gonna pull up week 3. Let's say it's week 3 and it's Friday. I'm gonna pull that up, and it's gonna pull up my activities for the day. I'm gonna say workout and Shaco, yes or no. Connect my post on social media. I still allow you to do that, yes or no. Connect new convos, yes or no. Invites, yes or no. Personal development, yes or no. I'm literally making you track whether or not you did your vital behaviors. Here's the thing. In my training groups in the past, usually only about 15 or 20% of the people make it through all 4 weeks and actually do what they're supposed to do. In this group, I set it up like the Beachbody Health Bet. For every person that signs up, I take $50 and I put it in a pot. At the end of the training, at the end of 4 weeks, if you did 85% of the activities you were supposed to do, you get $50 back plus a piece of the pot from everyone that didn't do their 85%. So check this out. We just did all the calculations from the group in January. In January, I had 400 people in the group, okay? Remember I told you usually only 20% makes it through the group and does what they're supposed to do? I had 225 out of 400 people that did 85% of their activities. I had more testimonials of people having measurable results in only 4 weeks than I had in all of last year of training people. More people. I had 126 testimonials from one group of people getting measurable results in just 4 weeks. Why? Because like I said earlier, 80% of Beachbody coaches are not doing all 4 vitals every day. But in my group, they are. And so in my group, they're getting results. I had people that have doubled their income. I have people that have tripled their income. I have people that have averaged Success Club 5 that hit Success Club 12. I have some people that I have one girl who quit her job in August. And this January was the very first time she's ever made enough money to replace her old income. That's a freaking awesome story. I have story after story after story after story of people who this urgency and focus is changing their life forever. It's the way I built my business. I set monthly goals, I set weekly goals, and I hone in on that crap. My friend Raina, the reason she went from 12 to 9 so quick is because we had an urgent goal that forced us to focus on the right things. My job, and that's why I called myself a push coach now and not a life coach. Screw life coaching. I want to help people push. I'm going to create urgent goals for people that force them to show up every single day at 100% and get the best results they've ever had in their life. So if you want to sign up for that, the February group has already started, but the March group will start the very first Monday of March. You can go to joshuacoates.com. Joshua, hopefully you know how to spell Joshua, but Coates is C-O-A-T-S. There's no E in it. It's joshuacoates.com. You can get signed up for the March group. It costs $200. The payout that I'm sending to everyone, like literally as we speak, I hope my wife is working on it. Everyone got $85 back. $85. They paid $200. They got $85 back, which means the group really only cost them $115. And we have people doubling and tripling their income. I mean, I literally don't know how the group could be any better. I'm kind of like pinching myself. Like, did you really pull that up? Like, is that really happening? Like, I'm kind of proud of myself if you can't tell. But really all I did was I just copied what Beachbody was doing, what was working for them. The Health Bet had 75% of people checking in, doing their Shakeology and their workouts. I said, why is nobody doing this for the business? Why? Well, now somebody is, and it's freaking rocking. So anyways, get signed up for that. I'll shut up now, Bonnie. If you want to have some Q&A time, that's cool. I can't see the chat, but if some people have some questions and you want to read them off to me, I'm totally cool for sticking around for a little while. You're still muted though.
Yeah.
Technologically challenged. No, that's awesome. Awesome. I have a few points. There are a few questions that I'd love to add. It's funny how we talk about these percentages, right? Like in business in general, like there's always the percentage of people who go above and beyond and are really, really super successful. Like in America, we have the top 1%, we have the top 5%. And there's this theory that if you were to collect all the money from everybody in the US and then redistribute it evenly, right? You gave every single person the same amount of money, that the money would still find, the majority of the money would still find those top 1%ers, right? And then the people who are struggling would still be struggling. And it's not because those people are smarter, they have more, they have better resources. It's because of the work, and it's simple work. We went to Tony Robbins, and it was really enlightening. And one thing that he talks about is how Africa has the most natural resources in the entire world, yet they are the poorest. Essentially, if you look at how the world is set up, the one with the most resources, diamonds, oil, all of that stuff, they should be the richest, right? Because they hold all of the cards. And we hear this from coaches. Like, for example, there's 80 people on this live stream right now, and there's 2,000 some in our team page and 5,000 some total in our entire downline. Every single one of them has access to be on this call. Yet only 80, it blows my mind, 80 took the initiative to get on this call tonight. And you should feel proud of yourself if you're on this call tonight. And there's a lot of new coaches on here. And I think the nugget, the interesting thing to take from this call is the things to do aren't crazy. They're not, you don't have to know all of this crazy high level shit. It's focused, simple action every single day. You don't have to have knowledge. You don't have to know about social media. You don't have to have a following. When I signed up, I had maybe 150 friends, and the only thing I posted on Facebook were our wedding pictures. And I think it's hard to look at someone super successful or see people who are getting what you want. And it's easy to say, I don't have this, they have that, it just doesn't work for me. But in reality, and there's a ton of new coaches on this call, which I love, in reality, it's simple, tiny little actions. Like when you were telling your story, you didn't say, I went off and paid an exorbitant amount of money for someone to handle my social media and do all these things. You every single day hoofed it. And it's that hard work that I think the mentality is lost on. And then when you were talking about kind of like the mentality, right, of that burning building or like your kids on the other side of the door, I think sometimes the mentality of Beachbody gets skewed because people, they come in, they see someone who's super successful, they see kind of like this franchise model, right? And if you were to do the traditional franchise model, let's just take like Dunkin' Donuts or 7-Eleven or whatever you want, you would need like $1.5 million of liquidable assets, right? You bet your ass, if I have to come up with $1.5 million of liquidable assets, I'm putting $1.5 million worth of effort into that business every single day. Somehow with Beachbody, because it costs $40 or just a workout program to sign up, that mentality gets lost, right? It gets lost in the shuffle. It gets lost on, well, it's only $40, so I have this back door. Now, if I paid $1.5 million to be a Beachbody coach, you bet your ass I'm staying up till 4 a.m. to invite people. And the funny thing is that it's not anything that none of us are capable of. And this one thing that you said really struck a chord. You said that you work with a ton of top 10 coaches, and you don't see one thing that all of them really have that's their defining factor as to why they're top 10. I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think the one thing all of them have in common is that they weren't afraid to fail and fall on their face 1,000,000 times. No, I don't think all of us had like somebody telling us something. We all had stories where we had to figure it out ourselves and all of this other crap. But I think the thing that I see the difference is they weren't afraid to do the wrong social media post, invite 20 million people, do the things. They're not hard tasks, but you have to get out of your own head in order to do them, right? And we have all the keys. Everyone on this call right now, and it's funny, like as you get tougher and as you get not meaner, because you're not mean, you just call people out, you start to see the numbers drop off because pride is something that we all have, right? And we don't ever, myself included, when the business wasn't working for me in my first year, I never wanted to say it's me, right? I never wanted to say, oh, I'm scrolling too much. I'm concentrating on the wrong things. I'm making excuses. I'm seeing who liked my post instead of inviting somebody else, right? And I think that's something it's hard for us to put aside. So if you were on this call, right, and you felt a little bit like, well, is he talking to me? Is he calling me out? And I saw some sad faces like, oh, that's me, sad face. I hate that because it's okay if it's you. The only thing, if that's you, that's a great sign because that means the only thing stopping you is you. You're doing it to yourself. So whoever does sad faces in the chat, turn it around. Like this is the moment you define that moving forward. And I love that about this business. If I can freaking make this work with Post-it notes, no education, no social media, anything, anybody in their right mind can make this work. And in some sense, you guys have it easier because I've already done the steps to do it and I give it to you, right? So if anyone was on this call feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to be a Girl Scout, I don't want to sling cookies, I don't want to do all these things, I need you to stop thinking that you can't be everything that you want. Because every person who came to me on this team, whether you're my PS coach or not, has said to me, I want some type of success with this company. And that requires work, right? You wouldn't ever sign up for a $1.5 million franchise and say, meh, I'm not gonna work on it. No, you would say, I'm gonna work my fingers till the bone until I get the success that all of these other franchisees have promised me, right? So I did see one question. I'm sorry, I just rambled forever. I saw one question. I can't find it, so I'm not going to waste any more time scrolling because everybody should be getting off this call and hitting Success Club tonight. I saw some people saying that they were inviting already, which is awesome. Yes. But seriously, thank you so much for your time. If you guys are not involved in this month's health bet for your business, seriously, find Josh on Facebook, message me. I can start a thread in our team page. Get in it. If there's one thing that I can say you need to invest in, it's yourself. And this is coming from someone who's very full of pride and has accomplished a lot. But there comes a point when you need someone else to say it's time to move forward. And just like at a regular job, at a traditional job, you have a boss saying you need to do this, you need to do that. You kind of need that little self-check. And I think for a lot of us that can push them forward. So I look forward to hearing that everybody is signing up for Josh's March, right? Because this one's done.
Correct.
The March group. So in short, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to chat with everybody. I think it was a good kick in the booty that we all needed, myself included. But you're awesome.
Thank you. And thanks for letting me take over the call and speak to your team. I appreciate it. I know you've put countless hours into building up your team, and it's hard to let someone else come on and speak because you're scared that they will screw all that up. So thank you for trusting me, and thank you for allowing me to add value to your team. I appreciate it so much. I'm honored to be working with you, and I can say your team is now my team. And I don't mean that by like it belongs to me. I mean like I'm a part of the team, and so I count myself as a part of the team. And I'm honored to be a part of that. So thank you for letting me in. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, and you're freaking awesome. Everyone, we all love you. No one thinks you're mean. But thank you so much again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.